Hello YouTube, Ken here with another Black Desert Online video for you. And originally this week's video was going to be my leveling up guide, my PvE leveling up guide for the Hassassin in preparation for the release of the class in the lands of non-Korea. However, since we still have about 2 weeks left before the class is actually released outside of Korea, I figured it would be a good time to talk about the season server resource trap is what I'm going to be calling it for this video. But before we start talking about that, I want to make it clear that I do understand that BDO is a game and a lot of us play this to have fun and not to be always as efficient as possible and to do things the best way possible. So if you are doing the season server because you want to, because you find it fun and you want to start a new character every 3 months and go through the story and the leveling up process, that is fine. You're perfectly in your right to do so. So no, don't take this as a you're doing it wrong. This video is more for those who want to have a little more of an efficient game play style and maybe competitive play style and progress faster in the game. And the other thing I want to talk about too is that you may have noticed that I am playing the second season here in Korea with my Hassassin. And you might be thinking, if I think that the season server is a resource trap, why is Ken playing on the season server for the second time? And there are two main reasons why I play on the season server for the second time. The first one is to get the unique reward, which I got a couple days ago. It's somewhere in my warehouse, I believe. There you go. There's this alchemy stone here, which is going to give you some DP as well as some defensive values. It's like the defensive counterpart of the Vel's Heart in a way. So now I wanted to get this, especially because unlike the Kaposha ring or earring, this one is not yet available outside of the season server, so I want to make sure that I went ahead and got that. And of course, the other reason why I'm in the season server is to show you guys what's up, what's new, and what's different between the seasons. And I'm going to be playing probably the third and fourth season and so on until they finally stop making changes, which is probably not going to be anytime soon. So let's talk about resource traps. So BDO has some pretty big resource traps in the game. Right now, there's two events going on that are going to trap your most valuable resource, which is time. One of them being the earring enhancement that you can get if you get your earring to pen. You can exchange it for a pen Kaposha earring, and at least this one is not too bad because if you fail 6 times, you can at least manage to get your Tet Kaposha. I believe that's the optional. That's the consolation prize. So you get a Tet Kaposha, and then you can, if you're feeling up to the challenge, you can go ahead and level that up to pen yourself. So that's not too bad. Although the event itself, it involves going out of your way and killing 1,000 mobs in different random areas in the world, and depending on how crowded your servers are, this might be a little problematic. And the chances of you getting the pen earring are ridiculous. I don't know if you tried the event yet, but there's like 80% to go to pry, and then 40% to go to do, and then 5% to go to try. It's probably 2.5 to tat. I don't know if you got the tat, post in the comments below. I'd appreciate it if you could let me know. And probably pen is going to be the 1%. So you got the odds of anybody coming out of this event with a pen earring is going to be very, very small. So this is one example of resource trap, and this is going to trap your time. But at least in this case, as I said, you're going to get a consolation prize, and most of these do get you a consolation prize in the end. The other one going on is the cooking event that you have to craft those 50 special beers to turn in for the 30 million daily reward. And from what I've seen, people are spending several hours cooking just to get the 50 beer reward, which you can then exchange for 30 million. So you're spending several hours cooking, plus all the money that you're spending on those living agents. That is a huge time and in a way silver trap as well, because you can easily get 30 million doing pretty much anything else in the game for like 15 minutes. So those are two of the most recent examples of resource traps. Let's now talk about the season server and why I think it is a resource trap. And for that, let me switch to my season server character, and I'll be right back. All right, so here we are with my season server character, and I can show you here that I haven't even bought the season pass because I don't necessarily need anything from here. And even though it's a good deal, I just don't really need much from here. I already have enough maids, and I already have enough inventory slots, and I already have enough the buffs. Are they not giving you a pet this time around? I thought they had a pet here. I don't know, maybe I'm missing. But yeah, so I haven't even put the money into the season server, even though we might, the value, the Black Spirit pass here is a good deal. game for new players, and even for players who are not so new, who need maids and buffs and things like that, and a costume. But this is just to show you that I don't really feel like the season server itself is worth it. And if you look at my gear here, let me pull up my gear, you can see that I'm sitting at mostly Tatin and my boots that refuse to go to Tat, as you may have seen in my other video, my enhancing highlights. And I have not even bothered enhancing earrings or belt, no, any of the accessories really, except the ones that I got for free. And of course, I got the pen ring from leveling up to 60 for free, and pretty soon I'm going to be getting, I believe, the earring for leveling up to 61. So I'm going to be getting one of those here pretty soon, and I can send this to another character. But everything else here is a Tat. And that's not for lack of materials. If you see here, I have, let me pull up my warehouse here. I have a bunch of stones here in Grana. I also have a bunch more stones in Velia. So it's not necessarily for lack of resources to try enhancing. It's more because I don't really want to spend the time, and most importantly, the fail stacks, right? And this is where it really starts to get into resource trap. I think Tat is fairly easy to get. You should, except for, well, as you can see from my boots here, maybe it's not that easy to get, but it's fairly easy to get. I got all the other ones without too much problem and without using too high fail stacks. You can easily get these using 20 to 30 fail stacks, which are relatively easy to get. However, if you want to get your Tobala gear to pen, that's when you start to sink a lot of resources into it, right? So let me pull up here our friendly Black Spirit, and you can see here that if I use a 70 fail stack, we're talking about 24% chance. This is a fairly high stack. You got to keep in mind, this is, in reality, this is a try weapon that I'm trying to get to Tat, right? Stats wise, it may look like it's a tag going to pen, but in reality, if I spent this stack, I would be spending 70 stack on a Tat. And you know, this is actually not a bad chance for a Tat weapon or armor enhance. That's actually probably what most people, or that's where I would start with anyways. A minimum 25% is what I would start with my Tat attempts. So this is not too bad. And you can see here 165 crowns per attempt. That's also not too bad. So I think, well, what's the deal then? If you're saying you would do that for a Tat, why don't you want to do it for essentially a Tat piece of gear here, even though it will be a Pen Tobala? And the reason is exactly because it's going to be a Pen Tobala gear, and a Pen Tobala gear is never going to go past Tat stats, right? So now I'll be using a 70 stack on a 24% chance. Plus, I might even want to use some Chrome Stones here because I definitely don't want to go back to try. So now we're talking about Chrome Stones plus a 70 stack or a 60 stack to get this to pen. And it's a pen that's always going to have inferior stats and is never going to be best in slot for your character. And now multiply this times 8. Is that 8 slots that we have? Let me see here. So 4 armor plus 3 weapons are 7, plus, you know, if you want to go for the accessories, which would be even more ridiculous because pen, composure are try boss accessories or no, be best in slot accessories. So please don't waste your stacks on accessories. You can get your 2 free pen ones from leveling up and stick to those, right? So we're talking about plus 60 fail stack times 7 to get 7 pieces of gear, or 6, right? Because one of them you will be able to convert to boss, but so 6 times 60 or 70 fail stack minimum just to get a piece of gear that's never going to be best in slot. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a huge waste. 60 stacks are 6 different attempts for your try black star, which is, you know, if you do the way I do it, just croning your try attempts. So that will allow you to try it 6 times to go back to try, so you can try your Tat attempt without Crown Stones. And no one will ever convince me that the 6 pieces of Tobala gear is going to be better than a Tat Black Star. Right? If you make a Tat Black Star, you can sell it and buy probably Tat of all your other pieces of gear, if not all of them, most of them, right? So just that one Tat Black Star is bigger, is more money than all of your Tobala gear here really combined, because again, except for the one piece that you can eventually transform into boss gear and upgrade it to pen. So no, aside for the one piece of gear that you're going to choose, which you should probably choose either the armor if you're going to go for the Daddy God armor, or one of the weapons here, right? So aside from the one weapon that you can eventually get to actual pen and actually be best in slot, you would just be wasting fail stacks that you could be wasting in other places. So please don't waste your time and your resources farming for the mats, building the fail stacks just so you can get gear that is never going to be best in slot. Just use those fail stacks on regular boss gear, piece of gear, and getting tri-boss gear is not that hard, right? You can, if you use those same fail stacks that you got to get your Tat Tobala, you can definitely get tri-boss gear not much harder than that. Especially now if you're watching this video when I'm releasing it, you have the Oasis gear, which is pretty much free tri-boss gear, so you have even less reason to try to get your Tuvala gear to Tet. Don't make a season server character, just get your character to 56, go to the vendor and buy your, essentially your Tet Tuvala gear. So just use that and save those fail stacks and the time and the money they'll be spending on the season server. So yeah, those are the reasons why I suggest people don't invest time and ridiculously high fail stacks, which to me a 60 fail stack is incredibly valuable because, like I said, that's the one I use for my try black star attempt. Yeah, don't use those on Tuvala because again, it's never going to be best in slot, number one, and number two, you can't sell it, right? If you enhance boss gear and later on you change your mind on which class you want to be, you can sell it and use the money to buy gear for other class. And same thing if you decide they don't want, you want to switch between Muskans and Orgons or Lieber, is that the other guy? And bags and whatever, heave, and if you decide later that you want to change the gear, you can sell it in the market and use that money to buy a different set. Whereas with the Tuvala gear, it's stuck with your family, so it's really a dead end for resources, unlike most other things in BDO where you can always recycle it back for money. If you just stick it in the market, all the other gear in the game, you can put it back in the market to resell. It's a really dead end trap, really. Your resources go in there and they never get out. That's why I call it a trap, a resource trap. So if you have already a well-geared character, right, you could be using that same time to grind an end game location and be making tons more money and using that money to upgrade your gear instead of coming here and trying to get dead end gear as opposed to dead god gear. Now, the other thing that people are really interested about in the season server in the second season here in Korea is these leaves here, the Coco Leaves, which will allow you to get your weapon exchange coupons. So you can, if you want to change mains, to change classes, you will be able with these coupons to exchange your weapons for weapons of a different class. I haven't exchanged mine yet, and I probably won't, so I'm not 100% sure how they work or what kind of restrictions they have. I heard there's a restriction of 3 months when a new class comes out, so you will not be able to use it for your Hasashin. But this is something that a lot of people are asking me about on the streams. But I gotta say, this is also kind of a resource trap. It's gonna take you some time. It's fairly easy to get these, so not as much as the armor. For most people, the weapon exchange coupons are really not gonna be too much of a bonus. If you want to change classes, you're probably, unless you have pen weapon with Kaffir stones or maybe Tet weapons with a lot of Kaffir stones in it, a lot of Kaffir stones on a Tet weapon, you're probably just better off selling your current class's armor on the market and then buying ones for the new class instead of spending the time leveling up your character and going through all the season server challenges just to get 50 of these leaves to exchange your weapons for a new class weapon, especially if the 3-month cooldown or wait period for new classes is still a thing. Then if you want to play Hasashin as your main, you're gonna have to wait for these 3 months to be able to use the coupons anyways. Might as well just sell your current class's gear in the market and use the money to buy your new class's weapon. And while it's true that you are gonna lose a little bit of money in the marketplace tax, it is also true that if you spend time grinding in the season server, leveling up your character and going through all the challenges, right, that time you could be spending grinding again or doing life skilling, whatever you do to make the most money in your character, and that money will probably cover the cost of the money that you're going to lose on the taxes in the marketplace. So also keep that in mind, right? It's always a balancing act. These Coco Leaves might seem free, but they cost you time, and time is money, and in BDO, money is power, both real money and silver. So yeah, especially now that the main quest offers you a lot of good rewards here for leveling up, for gearing, right? You have these really good accessories here, starter accessories. You can get the rings, the Valencia rings, which I don't have try here, but they're 10 AP, right? You have the silver earrings, the Drigan belt, and soon you guys will have the Odalita necklace as well. Plus you're gonna get some gear while you're leveling up, and again you have the Oasis event going on right now, so there's really no reason to go all out and spend all those expensive and very useful fail stacks on Tuvala gear. So unless you're doing it for the bragging rights or for the sense of achievement, please don't do it. You're wasting resources. You're trapping your resources in a little Tuvala box that you'll never be able to get back. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say in today's video. Like I said, next week I'm going to be releasing the Hassassin leveling up guide, and then after that the awakening guide, and then after that the succession guide, and then we'll see what else after that. I might be diving more into Odalita, since you guys will probably be getting that in the near future. So I want to start putting out some more Odalita content so you guys know what to expect from it, resources and things like that. We're going to take a look at the resources and the recipes and things like that. But I think that's going to be it for today's video. As always, if you liked the video and thought it was informative, I would appreciate if you could hit that like button. And if you want to see more video content from me, don't forget to subscribe. And also, if you want to support the channel, now I have the join button, so click that if you want to support the channel and enjoy some of the cool perks that we got there. And of course, also come join our Twitch streams and our Discord community. Links for those things down below. And that's going to be it from me from now, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.